friends, and welcome back to AmandaMuse. We're going to be doing a little Q&A today, but not your standard like Q&A about anything. It's going to be specifically related to breastfeeding. It's probably been highly requested as a result of me having 2 kids that I've breastfed, and also sort of that I've entered into the realm of extended breastfeeding, and I'm a co-sleeping mom and yada yada yada. So I threw this question out on my Facebook page. Let's jump to some questions. There are going to be some links below for videos I've done in the past, like how to wean a co-sleeping toddler like at night, and breastfeeding tips for newborns and all of that kind of stuff. So links are below for that. That said, let's jump to Cleopatra Elizabeth, who was asking, was nursing easier or the same with your second? Yes, much easier. The fact is, with your first, you both have no idea what you're doing in terms of breastfeeding, so it's like massive learning curve. Doable, but totally like a big deal. With your second, you know what you're doing, your baby is still learning, and the part that you're learning is how this baby nurses, because each baby is different, their temperament's gonna be different, how they ask for milk and all of that stuff is gonna be different. That said though, probably the biggest thing at the beginning was that you know what a bad latch is. Hopefully, I know some people have had trouble nursing, let's say their first child, but that was the biggest thing for me, is that I knew what a bad latch was, and I didn't have the trauma to my boobies like I did the first time around. Tiffany Amaral, favorite nursing bra tanks style when nursing, preferably 100% cotton, wire-free, the t-shirt kind of style, so that it's a little bit thicker, so that if you leak a little bit of milk, it's not gonna be a big deal. And then I take the type that unsnaps and hooks down. No extra fun stuff, just hooks down, access to the boobies. Those are my favorite. I also enjoy a good nursing tank, specifically those from H&M. I used a bunch of, and I really like those for around the house. When you're breastfeeding all day, especially with a brand new baby, those are really comfortable. Shyla Robinson Delp was asking, how often is Jack nursing now? He nurses to fall asleep, so that's once a day kind of thing for a nap, and he will nurse before bed, so definitely twice a day, and sometimes first thing in the morning, but not usually. So at least twice a day, and he's been teething lately, so it's been a little bit more. He'll actually stop and say yum 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 yum, and literally crawl into my shirt. So that's fun. That's kind of what happens when you have a toddler who's nursing. But yeah, 2-3 times, and maybe more if he's extra tired, or if he's skipped a nap, or if he falls down and smacks his head, he's gonna want to have to breastfeed because it's the comfort aspect of it. But yeah, minimum twice a day. Daniel Doyle was saying that she's hoping to nurse her baby number 2, future baby number 2, and that she tried on her daughter, but she wouldn't take it at all. And what advice would you give to a second-time mom but a first-time nurser? This is a good question, because I think that your chances of jumping to the bottle are a little bit quicker than you might suspect, even though you really want to breastfeed. And the reason for that is that you have already established a really good routine when it comes to feeding your baby with a bottle and getting them on formula and all of that stuff, which, sidebar, I don't care how you feed your baby, just feed your baby. But if you want to breastfeed, you kind of have to forget that that happened, because it's going to be so easy to want to pop a bottle in this kid's mouth because of how sore your breasts are, how tired you are. It is a lot of work for you, the mama, with a breastfed baby initially. However, once you get past the 6-week mark and then the 8-week mark, I mean, girlfriend, I don't even want to think how hard it is to sanitize, to do all the bottle stuff, the extra added cost of formula and all of that stuff if you don't have to do it. So I would just say kind of pretend it's your first go again, and be prepared for it to be really hard and really crappy initially. And if your expectations are really low, then you should be fine. And watch my video on my tips for breastfeeding a newborn, and I think that should help you a lot. So Jessica Talley was asking that when the baby starts sleeping through the night and you get engorged, do you have to pump in the middle of the night? No, for me it's supply and demand. So if you're engorged, it won't last forever, because what will happen is your body will eventually balance out. So if you begin pumping in the night, you're gonna wanna be prepared to keep that up, because your body will continue to produce milk thinking that somebody's drinking in the middle of the night. Do you know what I mean? So if you just wake up in the morning and you're full, feed your baby, pump out the rest if you have to, but you'll notice after 4 days or so, you probably will stop feeling engorged at night. Your body makes as much as it thinks you need, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Camilla Benelli was saying, did you start to notice certain times when your supply diminished, and what did you do to help it? Definitely around the 6-week mark. So it was 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, the 3 month, I guess that's 12 weeks. Basically every time your child goes through a growth spurt, a big milestone, you're gonna notice they're gonna want to drink more milk. And for that maybe like first 2 days, your kid's gonna be on the boob like all day. And you're gonna be thinking, what is going on? Have I lost my milk supply? Like I remember when I stopped feeling engorged and I was like, oh, I've lost my milk. You know, times of high stress for mama, going back to work, all of that stuff. But all I'd say is just keep feeding your baby. Go back to the supply and demand issue, eat well, stay hydrated, feed your baby, and you should probably notice your milk come back. And if you feel like it isn't, because I must say I've been very blessed in that department, I haven't had any issues where I've had to seek out, you know, additional supplements or special herbs or even like a lactation consultant. Like I know I'm pretty lucky in that way. But if you feel like you've done kind of all those things and it's still, your milk supply is low or you just feel like something's off, trust your gut and go seek out additional help from your doctor, from a lactation consultant, from a Lalesh League in your area, like wherever you can find breastfeeding support, go find it. I mean, there's tons of Facebook groups and things like that. I'm sure you'll find something in your area. Kirsten Paka was saying, any tips on increasing milk production? Do you recommend eating anything specific or taking any supplements? I just drink and drink and drink, like especially when they're newborns. I constantly had like a big, you know, those like Starbucks refillable plastic cups full of something. At the time I loved water with this like weird, what the heck was it? It was like a grape juice or something. Anyway, I was just addicted to this grape juice. You'll probably see it in previous videos. Ribena, that's what I was addicted to. Oh my God. But I drank a crap ton of water. And even now, like if I feel like Jack's kind of like drank all my milk, I go and drink a ton of water or something and I feel like it replenishes me. I also just eat, don't skip meals. Eat your food, guys. You cannot produce milk if you have nothing to make it from. Allison Eileen asked me this, who's actually a friend of mine, but she said, did you have someone who pointed you towards breastfeeding before Esme was born? And how did you come to that decision to breastfeed? And actually that's a really interesting question because I had to think about that. And to be honest, I still am not sure like if there was a specific person that pushed me into the direction of breastfeeding, because quite frankly, like my mom, so like when I was born, I don't think she breastfed for very long. It was very challenging for her. Her mom didn't breastfeed. It wasn't the thing to do. So she didn't have any women around her to really support her in this journey of breastfeeding. So that's interesting in how our society has changed, where you have YouTube and you have books and you have the internet like readily available. So if you're having a latching issue, you Google that shit and you're gonna find either a video about it or a doctor who can offer you like tips and tricks on how to get the best latch with like illustrations. Do you know what I mean? Like we're very fortunate in that way. So my mom didn't. Both my grandmas didn't, because one of my grandmothers was told that her breasts were too small, which is a bunch of BS, by the way. Just like your body is big enough to push your baby out, in most cases, your body is capable of producing milk no matter the size of your breast. The fat tissue of your breast has no context in terms of the milk production. Two separate things. Second issue is that like it just wasn't the thing to do. I was also the first of most of my friends to have kids, so I didn't have any like friends that pushed this breastfeeding thing. I think I just felt like I could do it. My body was going to produce milk, so why not give it a go? And I was really gung-ho about having like as natural a birth as possible, which obviously didn't turn out that way, but you know, I was just really focused on that, and I just thought, it seems easier, so I may as well give it a go. Now, all of that to say that I did understand how formula worked, and I had bottles and formula in the house in case I wasn't as successful as I'd hoped, because you gotta feed your baby somehow, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's what's important to you and your family. So yeah, it's interesting. Like I actually didn't have anybody, and I think the only place I started to see a lot of it was in books I was reading, and I was really I was very much inspired by Ina May Gaskin. I thought she was very inspirational, and I watched a few YouTube videos of moms that were pregnant and who talked about breastfeeding, and I just was desperate for the bond, not just knowing like the health benefits, but the bond that's created from breastfeeding. And oh my God, I just got emotional thinking about that, because the idea of Jack coming to the end of his breastfeeding, like time of his life, because it's not going to be permanent. Like he's 17 months and Esme stopped breastfeeding at 20 months, not by choice, mind you. So I don't know how long Jack will want to breastfeed for, and if that was a question, like my plan is just to go as long as it makes sense for the both of us, because that's something I've always said. It's not just about the kid, it's not just about the mom, it's the relationship. So when that stops working, we'll stop, however that goes. But knowing that it's coming to an end is just like, I mean, when Jack and I breastfeed, I lay down with him. Generally, I'm on my phone because he's going to sleep. But if he's awake and like hurt himself and we just snuggle in a chair, sometimes we smile at each other, we hold hands, we giggle. It's just a very cozy, comforting feeling. And then the breastfeeding also has the effect of calming down mom. Like it produces those hormones to relax mom, and that's always nice. And it keeps me damn skinny as hell, so I'm gonna miss that side of it. No more like sneaky Big Macs on the side, but I love it. I just love it. So I don't judge what anybody else does. And I hate that I have to say that in this video. Like, it's so silly to have to be like, I don't care if you formula feed, because I don't. Just like, I don't care if you wear green socks and I'm wearing white socks. Like, are they keeping your feet warm? Is your child fed? Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? But you get my drift. I hope that some of these questions have helped you in your breastfeeding journey. I may do this again. I don't know. We'll see what the response is like. I guess that's it. So you're gonna also find all my links to like Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat, all that stuff. So add me there as well. And that is it. Keep it real, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Get yourself a yard that is just full of weeds, like full of them. Full of weeds, and then give them, I don't know, 36 hours, 24 hours, how long have they been here? 17 hours, and have them weed the entire thing.